Hey guys, thank you for coming back. Today we'll be going over Chapter 8, Construction Contracts and Liability, highlighting. First thing we want to highlight, things that I saw during the test is written or oral. We have contract terms, implied terms, indemnity clause, notice of defect and opportunity to cure, Chapter 558, Florida statutes. Then we have punitive damages. A lot of these that I highlighted in the table of contents, I didn't find these in the index, so I highlighted them here, guys. That way, if I didn't find it in the index, I will come here and I will find certain answers. So first page we want to highlight is page 8.5. We have what is a contract, an offer, an acceptance mirror image of the offer supported by consideration. When there is an invitation to bid, often contractors or subcontractors asked to submit proposals, which proposals become accepted by signing or by taking other action to signify acceptance. Most material suppliers, however, have purchase order acceptance documents. Page 8.6. There are three essential terms of construction contract: quality, time, price. Written or oral. Oral construction contracts and subcontracts that are capable of being performed within 1 year are enforceable. Oral contracts for the purchase and sale of material-only goods or of a value of less than $500 are enforceable. The benefit of a written agreement is that the parties are not left to their memory and veracity to prove the agreement. And B, there are many duties that are expected to be performed in the construction arena that are better served by being laid out on paper or electronically for better recollection. Fixing agreement on terms in writing serves to avoid later misunderstanding or misrecollection. 8.7. The law requires that certain agreements must be in writing to be enforceable. In the construction setting, the following agreements must be in writing to be enforceable: an agreement that cannot be performed within 1 year of its making, an agreement to arbitrate, an agreement for the purchase or sale of goods only having a value of more than $500, an agreement to perform personal services, for example, particular artists or professionals' work, an agreement to guarantee the debt of another, an agreement to lease real property for more than 1 year. Unlawful contracts. The law will not enforce a contract that has an unlawful purpose. A contractor not being licensed to perform the work undertaken where a contractor's license is required. Fixed price contracts. This form of contract is frequently used for construction. The fixed price contract is an agreement whereby the party performing the work agrees to perform all the work described in the contract in return for payment of stated price. The party performing the work assumes the risk of cost escalation or benefit of cost reduction, and risk of delay or changed conditions unless otherwise addressed in the contract. Next paragraph, we have allowances. An allowance is a budget number that is plugged in for purpose of reaching an overall fixed price or budget, yet allows for variation if the budgeted amount of the specific allowance items are exceeded or all used, or not all used. Next page, we have 8.8. We have cost plus contracts. We have maximum price, guaranteed maximum price, or upset price, above which the contractor assumes the risk of paying for the work described in the contract. Next paragraph, we have guaranteed maximum price, GMP, to allow sharing of cost savings. Next paragraph, design build contracts. This form of contract requires the responsibility for design and construction to rest with the one contracting entity. 2 paragraphs down, the construction manager, when acting as owner's agent, does not contract on his or her own financial account. Does not contract. Page 8-9, we have contract terms, we have implied terms, and 1 through 10. It's important to go over these. Page 8-10, we have condominium, we have implied warranties, condominium statutory warranties. The contractor, see if you guys can see this, the contractor, the subcontractors, and some material suppliers, which warranties go for a period as long as 3 years from completion. This warranty runs in favor of condominium unit owners. Whenever you guys see numbers, again, make sure you circle them. That way they pop up to you during the exam. Down below, B, scope of work. We have A, payments. C, time of performance. If no price is agreed, but work has been requested and performed, the law will imply the duty to pay reasonable price under an implied in fact contract to avoid someone being unjustly enriched. A reasonable price is determined from testimony of experts familiar with local pricing where the work is performed. This concept of reasonable value quantum merit may also be applied to determine the price of extra work when the extra work has been requested, performed, appreciated by the recipient, and not otherwise prohibited by other contract terms. We have page 811, retainage. To give the contractor an incentive to finish the owner, a measure of security for problems later found. So this is one that will most likely be on your exam as well, retainage. The clauses are enforceable in Florida where they are clearly expressed. Page 812, a clause that is not clearly a contingent payment clause will be interpreted as time of payment clause. Page 813, no damage for delay clause. Such a clause is enforceable in Florida and makes the contractor bear the risk of delays. Liquidated damages. The parties may agree to a liquidated number of X dollars per day to be recoverable for delays that extend the date of substantial completion or final completion. A liquidated damage clause is enforceable unless it is a penalty. If the liquidated damage amount is X times 10, where X is reasonable approximation of owner damages, then that would be a penalty and would not be enforceable. So next page will be 814. We have waiver of consequential damages, change conditions, deferring site conditions. In a fixed price contract, the contractor assumes the risk of changed or differing conditions in order to allow. We have page 815, cost escalation. Page 816, we have indemnity clause. Common law indemnity only applies if the innocent party is completely without blame. So this is a good page to tab or highlight it in your table of contents. Page 818, notice of defect and opportunity to cure Chapter 558 Florida Statutes design defects. Any claims for construction defects are subject to the notice and cure provisions of Chapter 558 Florida Statutes. We have page 821, dispute review boards. DRB decisions are typically agreed to be non-binding, but may be agreed to binding. Page 822, we have residential contracts, lien law warning. Statute of limitations. You will most likely get a question about this too, guys. So it's very important to go over this a few times. The purpose of dispute resolution is 1. To obtain just result for the dispute, and 2. To put an end to disputes. The statute of limitation for a written agreement in Florida is 5 years. A claim of performance bond being form of written agreement is 5 years. The statute of limitations for an oral agreement for negligence of other causes of action arising out of design or construction is 4 years. For example, breach of contract. With respect to latent defects, the statute of repose extends the statute of limitations to 4 years from when the defect is found, or should have been found, with the exercise of due care, but in any event not longer than 10 years from completion. We have down below the time within to use a design professional for professional negligence malpractice is 2 years from when the wrongful act occurred, or should have discovered with exercise of due diligence. The 2-year statute of limitations for professional malpractice is limited to those who have a contract with the professional. Otherwise, it is 4 years. An action to recover wages or overtime is limited to 2 years. An action to enforce an equitable lien arising out of improving real property must be brought within 1 year. So this section is mainly about statute of limitations. This you can definitely find in the index, and it'll take you straight to these pages here. We have page 824, breach by party paying for work. If an owner breaches a contract or a contractor breaches a subcontract by non-payment of non-material amount, then there is not a basis to terminate the contract. Page 825, punitive damages. Punitive damages are not recoverable for breach of contract. This is one that you should highlight in your table of contents because that's where you will find it. And that's it for chapter 8, guys. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you found any of these highlighted portions in your exam. And the next chapter we will be going over is chapter 9, which is construction lien law. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.